Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom for your day. And today we have the Pilgrim card deck and an interesting card that we haven't had in quite some time. So I always like to see which ones pop up whenever we hit a deck that we haven't had in a while, and then a card that we haven't had in a while. So let us start with our breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Cindy. Waving back at you. Everybody just breathing deeply and easily just to get our morning started. I was laying in bed earlier and just taking some nice deep breaths and realizing how often we don't breathe deeply. So today's the day. Let's get some breaths in there. And again, if you feel a little lightheaded, it probably means that you don't breathe overly deeply during the course of the day. So you can try setting a timer on your phone to remind you, and then the timer will go off and you go, what the heck is this for? It's breathing. It's breathing time. Another one in and out. Just shaking off the night. Welcoming the new day. It's supposed to be gloomy here today, overcast, which is kind of a bummer because a friend of mine is taking me out for birthday lunch. Good morning, Linda. Of course, you get to celebrate your birthday all month long. I kind of like that. And we were going to sit outside, but I think it's only going to be 60, so we may end up inside, especially if it's windy. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome, welcome. Glad you are all here. So, again, we have a card from the Pilgrim Cards deck by Austin Repath. Good morning, Mel. Welcome. Glad you're here. And this card is called Restless Soul. Restless Soul. Just started sprinkling. Okay, the ground is wet here, and not soaked, but damp, so it must have rained overnight a little bit. So good morning, Janine. Welcome, welcome. So just settling in, just taking some nice deep breaths, just preparing yourself to receive whatever part of this message, off to get the grandbaby, awesome, awesome, is destined for you. What part of this message do you resonate with? What part of this message makes you go, Whatever causes us to think deeply, it's good. It's good. So here it is, Restless Soul. Do you not wonder at your restless nature? You cannot stay and cultivate a patch of land. You who can barely tolerate a day of rest. Surely, you tell yourself, one day you will find that which you seek. And yet, you know not what it is you are searching for, only that you long for more than you are. You walk past farmers tilling the same fields as their fathers before them. You wonder if they sit down to their evening meal, content with their lot. Good morning, Peggy. Welcome. Cursed with divine longing, blessed with the promise of what yet may come to pass. You wave at those you meet and imagine them happy with what they have. You imagine yourself one day sitting across the table from them, sharing with them the treasures you found at journey's end. So have you not found that there are people who are the wanderers, the nomads, the ones who like to be out and about and doing things and don't sit still well? I was one of them. Bonnie, sit down. Bonnie, quit talking. Bonnie, come away from the window. Blah, 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 blah. And then there are those who are quite content to sit and be. And one's not better than the other. People seem to tolerate one more than the other, but one's not better than the other. They're just different ways of being. And when, as adults, we choose to accommodate our natural inclination, I think we end up happier. So my daughter also is kind of a nomad. Settling into one place and being there long term just isn't her cup of tea. Good morning, Angie. Welcome. Glad you're here. Personally, I think I moved every 2 years. Once I started being away from home, I moved every 2 years for the longest time. And then when I landed in Green Bay, started having kids, I stayed put for 15 years. Then I moved again. So that's kind of my penchant, is to move a lot. Also my penchant to travel. Thus, yesterday I booked my trip to Portland, so I will be gone for 2 weeks. Not sure yet what we'll do about early morning intuitive guidances. I might take my stuff along since it's not that hard to pack, and give you a tour of the West Coast, because I talked to a friend of mine yesterday, and I have intentions of going to visit her in Seattle. Apparently there is a train. Well, she's coming down there for a doctor appointment, so she may bring me back, and then when it's time to head back, hop on the train at Seattle and go back to Portland. So I think I'm going to have all kinds of adventures. This will be good. I was a little appalled because my ticket was, I think, $450 or something like that. The damned rent-a-car would have been $990. So I think I will utilize train, and I may borrow my sister's car for a day or two to do a few things, but other than that, I can probably get around without one, which is fine by me. So that restless soul, the always looking for more, I don't want to say never satisfied, because there are times when people who are the wanderers are satisfied, but there's this wanderlust. I have to be out and doing and going and being with nature, etc. So if you are that kind of person, even though in the card he says cursed with divine longing, maybe it's also blessed with divine longing. That desire for more doesn't mean that we don't end up satisfied with what we have, but we may, from that place, still be searching, still be looking. And maybe that isn't a bad thing. Gotcha. Humidity. Yeah, that is not my favorite thing, humidity. So we'll see. But restless soul. Are you one of those people who is a restless soul? Or are you one of those people who's more comfortable with just being where you are? Interestingly, there was a theory at one point to attempt to explain attention deficit disorder that normalized it by saying there are hunters and gatherers. The hunters are the people who are always aware of what's going on around them and always going and seeking and looking and whatever. And the gatherers are the ones who sit there and do this thing. You know, they make great actuaries. There's room, again, to me, there's room in the world for both of them and everybody in between. Everybody in between. Some people have a mix of both that probably allows them to segue easily from one to the other, hopefully. For others of us, one comes more naturally and the other one can be a trained up response. I mean, I have learned to sit still somewhat over the years of school and getting yelled at to come away from the window. So, what about for you? And can you imagine that at the end of the journey, you can sit, well, even periodically during the journey, sit with the people who are more of the stay-at-home kind of people and share stories? Because there's stories from both of those realms, the out and about and seeking realm and the staying home and tending the hearth realm. Just a different way of being. So what way works best for you? I'd like that card. Restless Soul. Kind of fits. So, have an awesome Thursday. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. And just spend some time thinking about the people you know, yourself included, and discerning where they're at on that scale of being comfortable right where they are or wanting to be out and about. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.